do agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Of course, I believe that those factors are important factors in order to kind of achieve a specific or a certain goal in your life, if you have, or whether that goal is ultimate happiness. They can definitely play an important role.
I agree.
I agree. I think it's a good formula. Passion, resiliency, and consistency on a day-to-day basis and long-term basis is vital to achieving anything. Whether it's you're in school or whether it's in work or profession. The key in my mind, I think, resiliency and consistency more than probably passion. If you had to weigh the three factors, and not just resiliency, almost like determination. You know, you never give up, even if there's roadblocks and challenges. I think that's the key to achievement.
I would say consistency is what made me a golf pro, and passion was what made me a golf pro. And I couldn't have got here without either one. So when it was rainy days and I didn't want to go outside, it was passion that got me out there anyway. And so, or if I felt tired, I didn't want to practice, it was passion that made me want to keep practicing anyway. So, and I don't think I could have become a golf pro without going out on those days when I didn't want to go out, when it was rainy, and every day of the week. I didn't take days off, or I took one day off, but I never took two. And I did that for years and years and years and years and years, and I never stopped, even when I wanted to quit, even when it was hard, even when it was cold. The key was to keep going, and that's how you get good at anything, I believe. And there's other things that I'm good at life too, and they took the same devotion essentially to get to being good at them. So that's why I believe it's important. I think it was a long-term goal that I wanted to be good at it, and it was a passion of mine, and I just forced myself to. I just said I'm going to do it even if it's not fun today. And tomorrow it always was fun. It's just that it was usually not fun for a day or two, and then it became fun again. So, and I always knew that it would come in cycles like that. I always knew that, and so I guess because I knew it was cyclical, I just powered through it, and I knew it would turn around tomorrow. So I guess that's the way I did it, I guess, more than anything. Okay. I think it would be very hard to be motivated to do something you hated. That's why I don't go to the gym. So for me, it was really important to be that I really liked doing what I was doing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it, I don't think. For me, I know some people can do it. I have a heart. When you figure out how to do it, let me know.
I think for me, it's a lot of just doing more passion projects, keeping up with things that you actually are in love with. Going in, I'm just trying to think exactly. Yeah, I think I'm also pursuing something that I'm in love with, so it gives me that drive to work better, work harder. Honestly, a healthy lifestyle really helps with resilience and keeping yourself going day to day on those cloudy, hard days that you can't get up out of bed or do something. You just have to remember that you're worth it, you're doing the right thing, and just push yourself. And I think healthy lifestyle has really helped me push myself further and just stay on track. And yeah, that's kind of what I would say. Well, I'm a hairstylist, so I do hair all day, every day, probably around 12 hours a day. And it gets tiring over time because you're doing repeat motions, you're doing the same thing day to day. But I'm also pursuing, again, like I was saying, something that I love doing. So the passion rate is there, it's just hard to kind of keep it alive and motivated. So the way I motivate myself is, again, doing more creative projects, that kind of spark the motivation and passion again, or doing more, I don't even know. I think I'm just obsessed with what I do, and I've pursued that career, and I think that on its own has helped me stay motivated, because I didn't do something I didn't want to do. I pursued what I wanted to, and I put all my effort and hard work into it, and it's just unfolding slowly. But I think a lot of it is just finding inspiration in different hairstylists for me, and finding different projects I want to do, and creating a plan for my future, and that kind of keeps me on track and keeps me motivated.
I think we should have a plan and have a goal, and then make it a habit so that you can do it every day. For those people who go to fitness, if they miss a day, they just doesn't feel comfortable for that day that didn't go to the gym, right? So make it a habit for every day. For me, for now I'm trying to get a habit for getting up early and go to bed earlier before 11. So it's kind of hard. It's because the consistency is so hard if you do it every day. But I trying to make it started from 7 days at least, easier and then get harder, so that you can make it maybe a month to try it, and then after a month you will be used to that thing, right? So I think that's really important. So make it a habit.
I would say that only having passion or consistency, they will not be, they're not enough. So, and also resiliency as well. So resiliency for me has always been a really important factor in order to achieve something. And I always believe that depending on the situations in life that you face, you can develop different levels of resiliency according to the fact that how hard that situation is. And if you're resilient, basically you can it will give you the ability to be able to know that if I could survive this one specific situation, then I'm able to survive the other situations as well. And when the new challenge comes, and you will see yourself that how much you could be successful in terms of successfully passing through that situation, then you will be really happy with yourself. I can say that, oh, I could survive this, or oh, I could achieve this. So that kind of brings you some sort of happiness. Passion and consistency are really important as well, but sometimes you may have the passion and you may even have the consistency, but you do not have the right exposures or right resources that will allow you to kind of reach that ultimate happiness that you're looking for. And one important is that how do you define ultimate happiness, or what is ultimate happiness for different people? And what do we really think of when we think of an ultimate happiness? And why do we think of it in a way that we're looking for an ultimate thing? Whereas I always feel that this is an ongoing journey, that maybe there is no ultimate thing. You may have the passion and you may have the consistency, but you don't have the right exposure and the resources. And then you may feel that, okay, I'm doing what it takes, but then it's not happening, or that ultimate thing that I'm looking for, it's not happening. So that is when resiliency actually plays an important role, that will help you to kind of stay hopeful and stay positive and stay faithful, that eventually if I could survive different situations, then eventually I will survive this too, and I will pass through this, and I can find that ultimate thing that I'm looking for. There is a purpose in my life. So because I think that way, that there's a purpose for me to fulfill. I always, no matter what is the situation that I'm facing and how hard it is, that purpose will give me some kind of hope and some kind of faith, I can say.
I'm a chef actually, as you can see. I really love cooking. I really love cooking, and it was hard for me to start this job. I actually started, I studied management in the university in Turkey, and my family is in the textile business, and they always want me to work in that textile business, continue the factories and stuff. But I hated it. From the childhood, I hated that job, and I always loved cooking, but I'm talking about 25 years ago. And 25 years ago, being a chef in Turkey wasn't so popular. Actually, they won't give you a girl to marry. So I had to lie. First, I said I want to be a chef and I would like to go to United States or France, Europe to be a chef. And they say, no, we don't let you. Then I lied to them. I said I will study hotel management because at that time the tourism was not bad in Turkey. And I said to them, I will study tourism, and they let me go there, but I never studied tourism. I go to culinary school, and they didn't know that I was a chef for a long time, for 6-7 years. After I graduated, I started at Ritz-Carlton hotels. Then I went to work with Gordon Ramsay in London, but they never know that I was a chef. They always thought that I was with the suites and working in the front. Also, at the university, because I started a little late, being a chef, you have to start a little earlier. I was a little late, and I finished my university at 1 year with the first degree. I was the first at the end, and then I started in Ritz-Carlton hotels. I always wanted to work in Michelin star restaurants. And while I was working in Ritz-Carlton, after 4 years, I started to write letters to the chefs, big chefs of the France, because my aim was to open one day a Michelin star restaurant in Turkey, and there was no Michelin star at that time in the United States. Now there is, but at that time there wasn't. I started to write letters with my hand, not like copy paste from the computer, to the chefs like Alain Ducasse, Robuchon, Pierre Gagnier, big French chefs, 3 Michelin star chefs. I write it every week to 12 chefs, and I'm changing the date and I'm writing it, rewriting it again. Almost I was losing my hope, and I was taking also French course in Rhode Island, Brown University, because I will go to France and I don't know so much French. One night, after I think 3-4 months, after many letters, 12-14 letters, one night at 4 o'clock, Chef Pierre Gagnier, 3 Michelin star chef, called me at 4 o'clock in the morning. I told one of my friends was joking me from Turkey, Istanbul. Because somebody was speaking with French accent and stuff, and they know that I wanted to go to French, and I think they are just messing with me. After half a minute, I understand that it's real. And he said that, why don't you come to London, because your French is not good. I was trying to speak French, but I wasn't so good. So he said, why don't you come to London, because I'm opening a restaurant called Sketch, and it will be a good restaurant. I say, yes, of course I will come. And I said, why I'm so insisted on that French thing, why I'm not going to London or other countries which you can also speak English. Then I get the job offer from the chef, but I said, why, if I'm going to England, let me write the same letter to the English chefs, best ones. If I get from there, I will go there. If not, I have this, a good opportunity. I started to write to Gordon Ramsay, like 3 Michelin stars, Heston Blumenthal, Roux Brothers, and then Gordon Ramsay from the head office, they called me and they said, give me a job. Actually, that phone changed my life. I didn't go to Pierre Gagnier, that restaurant, but I started to work with Gordon Ramsay. It was always tough. I was with almost 12 years. I was with a luggage. England, I worked in many places in America, many places in London. I went to French. Afterwards, I went to work with Robuchon, that French chef, the biggest chef in the world. It was a very tough journey, but if you like it, I think it worth it. You have to be patient about something. Money comes later, but you have to be patient about something. You have to see the light always at the end. You have to believe yourself. I had lots of bad days. Sometimes my visa, for example, I was jobless because my visa didn't approve. Sometimes because you are moving somewhere and you are starting to a new job, you are lack of money, very few money. You cannot even get out of the month to pay your rent at the end. But if you really love something and if you really believe something with your heart and work for it, I think at the end the good things will come.
I think it's good to have a support network, family, friends, colleagues, internal motivation if it's something that you believe in. From a practical execution standpoint, maybe planning, goal setting, calendars. I couldn't live without a calendar, my electronic calendar for planning and making sure you set timelines and deadlines to achieve things, and then plan that out, baby steps along the way. Yeah, I think for me, when I'm looking at the next week or the next month, I try to set targets and goals so that I know what I'm working towards. You know, goal setting helps. Having people that I work with, that I'm accountable to, that I care about, that helps too. I've always been more of a internal locus of control type personality, where I'm responsible for my actions, I'm responsible for what happens to me, versus other people who might think more of life and destiny happens to them and they're not in control of that. So, you know, I think that's an internal mindset, probably established at a younger age. And I think it's important to try to instill that in kids, in your family and your kids at a young age.
Love for something.
Can I say 2 words? So the first one's happiness. I think that automatically just makes me just happy and makes me, yeah, just excited for what I've done and that I can achieve these goals slowly. But another thing is also I'm relieved.
Happy when you're doing it.
I think I can say alive.
Proud will be proud with myself.
Yeah, satisfaction.
As they say, if you are persistent, you will get it. If you are consistent, you will keep it. You hold the pen, create your magic every day. And remember, try to enjoy the process. The journey is more important than getting there. You can share your stories with me here.